All I know is that I want to read it to you guys because it was crazy. Oh, I know what video it is. What am I talking about here? Yeah, it is this video. It's the Black Nerds video. It's the Black Nerds video. It might be this one. Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. This guy right here. Bowden J8055. You guys see this? How it says read more? Let's click on this. Look at this, chat. Look at this. Look at this. Is this normal? Is this normal behavior? I said, you need help for posting this long comment here, and you lost all credibility when you said I was a coon. Is this normal?
What?
Do you think that he used ChatGPT to write this? Should I read it? No. Drop a W in the chat if you want me to read it, chat. I have not even read it.
Please don't.
It's such a fucking long comment. I haven't even read it.
It's useless.
Billy says it's useless. I almost feel like reading it because it's so outrageous that somebody would be so fucking psychotic to leave such a long comment on a fucking random video. 626 King says, I kind of like her too. She's my type. I hate to say it, 626, but there's always going to be girls that are your type, bro. They come and go, man. Don't get too hung up on the fact that you have stuff in common with her or that you like her. And maybe I'm being very utilitarian here and very pragmatic, but there are plenty of girls on this planet that will have those same qualities. I assure you she's not as special as you probably think she is. So proceed with caution again. He says, real degenerate. You know what? I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. He said, okay, so this was the Black Nerds video where we reacted to Antonio Speaks. And this guy, I got to put my glasses on for this one, chat. I'm just being realistic, can I? I don't want to see my boys get hurt, man. It's like the Kai Cenat situation. Kai Cenat thought that this Gigi girl was the one for him. Oh, she's so special. She's so unique. The truth is that I'm not unique. Nobody's unique. If you have enough patience and you meet enough people, you'll find another person that's exactly the same as the one you lost. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways.
The booty king has spoke.
Billy said the booty king has spoke. That's crazy. Anyways, exactly. These are the same people that will watch a minute and a half of a video. Okay, wait. Let me start from the first comment. This guy says, let him land the plane. And then I responded back, did he land it or did he crash it? Then this guy responded back, exactly. These are the same people that will watch a minute and a half of a video and immediately post a comment in opposition or condemning the person, which basically displays a certain level of maturity or lack thereof. I personally can appreciate a lot of Antonio's commentary because he's genuine though this word doesn't even make sense here. And though views and likes are definitely important in regards to having a successful platform, he started this specific channel to shed light and awareness on the issues surrounding race on social media, out of love for his community opposed to hate of another community. And he did it during a time when there no consequence, any public hate and any black behavior, but at a time that felt like the height of its popularity. Okay, first of all, this is a lie. This is a lie. Antonio Speaks definitely hates white people. And regardless, the amount of disrespect or demoralization tactics that others use to rage bait, not once have I watched Antonio stoop to angry bigot level. Instead, he returns the favor by comparing the rhetoric and the lies with actual historical facts and statistics. That's bullshit too. He does go down to a bigot level. He literally made a video about interracial marriages and how he didn't believe that it was true love. But if you think it's true love, then go with it. Like, dude, that's literally bigoted. You're literally being a bigot. What are you talking about? I don't know much about Scott Leonard or this channel, but what I see, it is either two things going on here. He is either a grifter and a coon that is basically following in the footsteps of Tatum Daniels and Carter's of social media. But what I would like to believe is that he is just very misguided, misinformed, or perhaps he just not very well-rounded visually due to short-sightedness, like many young men that become products of their environment, and the lack of maturity can really impair your vision. Okay, This is not ChatGPT because there's a lot of misspellings and words that don't even fit. Here is an actual young black man speaking of pro-blackness. First of all, if you're a pro-black, you're a fucking retard. And excuse me for using the R word, but I have to say it 10 toes. Anybody who's pro any race, like why are you proud of being in a race? You didn't earn it. You were just born into the race.
I'm proud to be Eastern European. I'm proud to be a sour cream citizen.
All I'm saying is that you shouldn't be proud of your race because you didn't choose your race. You didn't work towards your race. You just happened to be born in that race. It's literally just roll of the dice. He says, speaking of pro-blackness as being something that is wrong and divisive, contrary to popular belief, but pro-black does not mean that you're anti-white or anti-anything else. Pro-blackness is an ideology focused on the affirmation, empowerment, and advancement of black people rather than hatred for others. Bro, he literally said that you're trying to get close to whiteness in that video. He literally said that he looks down on black people that try to get close to whiteness in that video. On the Rise says, just playing devil's advocate. If you make a 10+ video talking about the subject that you had to take time to edit, shouldn't the person replying have the time to reply to points you made? Just saying. I mean, on the Rise, but the person watching the video is they're just taking it too far, dude. He says, I'm pro-black, so I guess I'm retarded. Don't mean I don't love other races. He says, bro wrote a book in the comment section. Look, on the Rise, in my opinion, you kind of have a little bit of a point there when you said the person has the right to respond to the points, but at the same time, it's just a fucking video. If it bothered this guy so much, then why does he start his own YouTube channel and then he can talk about it? Writing a long ass comment and expecting me to use my valuable time to read it in my personal time is crazy. I saw the comment and I'm like, I'm not reading all of that. I read the first paragraph. Anyways, it continues. The argument that this young man made about different demographics of people whom allegedly get singled out, attacked, and ostracized due to their failure to assimilate with so-called American values of cultural norms is completely asinine, especially when put in terms of Black American culture. Oh my God, that's word salad. But what he's basically saying is that I'm the crazy one for saying that Black people should assimilate. Even when we speak of Asians, Caribbeans, Eastern Europeans, Hispanics, Italians, Jewish, or East Indians, all of these demographics of people have managed to establish their own individual subcultures, be it customary language, art, food, etc., within the constructs of American culture while being able to freely embrace specific elements within their culture. It now becomes a part of American culture. That's cap. That's cap. That's cap. Jews, Hispanics, and Indians that don't assimilate, they suffer the same type of prejudice as Black people. That's cap. That's cap. Every time that you eat a gyro, taco, pizza, or chow mein, the music that you listen to, the technology, to the things that you watch for entertainment, to the laws, the list goes on. So his argument is totally bogus and debunked. No, what you're missing is that those people, their culture assimilated into American culture. Their culture, going and getting Chinese takeout, is assimilating into American culture for the American population. What, you don't see white Americans saying, oh, I don't eat Chinese food because I don't believe in Chinese culture. Oh, I don't eat Mexican food because I don't like Mexicans. Oh, I don't do this because of this. The only cultures you see doing that are the opposite cultures. Jews saying, oh, I don't want to do this because of the Gentiles. I'm a Jew. I'm Hispanic. I'm not going to go to this country meetup because it's a bunch of rednecks. Black people saying, oh, I don't want to do this activity or that activity or listen to this music or that music because it's too white. What are you talking about? You're the one who has a bogus argument. Because from what I can tell, the white culture, the mainstream American culture, I don't even want to call it white culture. It's not white culture. It's just American fucking culture. The American mainstream culture does benefit from all of the other cultures that come in. They get to eat Chinese food. They get to eat the Mexican food. They listen to rap music. They watch movies that are influenced by other cultures. They're not rejecting any cultures. Am I crazy here, chat? The mainstream American culture is not rejecting any cultures, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You fucking lobotomite. You fucking caveman. You fucking tribal piece of shit. You fucking summer ant. He says white culture is European culture. American culture is indigenous culture. When I say American culture on the rise, I'm just speaking colloquially. He says lies. White people hate Indian people, but love the food. But Kanai, I'm talking about the cultural aspect. I'm not talking about the people themselves. He's arguing that the culture is not being assimilated, but I'm arguing the opposite. The American mainstream culture does assimilate other cultures. They don't like Indian people, but they love Indian food. They don't like Indian people, but they'll they'll watch an Indian Bollywood movie. The list goes on and on. So his argument is totally bogus and debunked. As I continue to listen to him, I'm finding out more and more about him. And no, he is definitely not misinformed, yet none of the things that are coming out of his mouth are even sincere. He's here to help affirm the stereotypes and the narratives and do everything that he has to do to make those people feel comfortable and justified for their thinking. Because if he says it and being that he is one of them, then it has to be the truth, right? See, this is a stupid narrative. He's basically saying that I'm the token black guy and that I'm saying all of the stuff I'm saying because I want to make white people comfortable. But what he doesn't understand is I didn't grow up here. I didn't grow up here. I don't give a fuck about how white people feel. See, this guy, the problem is that people like this see everything through a lens of American racism. So he's incapable of seeing it from my perspective. My perspective has nothing to do with white or black at all. I'm just a guy who came from another country. My dad was an American. I came here and I decided to assimilate into American mainstream culture. That's all. I'm not trying to appease anybody. I don't give a fuck how white people feel. I don't give a fuck how black people feel. I don't give a fuck how Chinese people feel, how Indians, how Jews, how anybody feels. I'm not trying to appease anybody. I'm not trying to fit in. I'm not trying to fucking compromise. I'm not trying to do any of that shit. I'm just pointing out the truth of your fucking situation, but you refuse to see it. You want to feel special. You want to separate yourself from the rest of the people, and you're stubborn. More than anything, you're stubborn. And then you say that I'm affirming stereotypes and narratives. Brother, please, dude. Please. I'm not affirming any fucking stereotypes, man. You know who affirms the stereotypes? I'm going to tell you who affirms the stereotypes. The wealthy black American who decides to take a movie role, being a gangster, selling drugs, murdering, committing crimes, being the butt of the joke. That's the guy who's affirming stereotypes. The Rakais of the world are affirming stereotypes. The fucking, let me think, what other black content creator affirms stereotypes? You know, there's a difference between a Will Smith. I've never seen Will Smith take on a role of self-deprecation. Think about it, guys. When has Will Smith taken on a role, especially recently? Maybe in the beginning, when he was younger, he might have taken on the role of a criminal or whatnot. But if you really think about it, Will Smith has always taken on roles that police officer, buddy cop, superhero, well-informed, educated person. We need more Will Smiths. We need more Will Smiths. We need less Ice Cubes. He says, you love the juice. He says, that's the point, Scott. You didn't grow up here, but tell people how to feel about race. But on the rise, I'm being objective. That's what I'm trying to say. The reason, look, if you were born in a swamp, right? You were born in a swamp and the swamp has toxic water. The swamp has rotten food. and your entire life you've been eating rotten food and drinking toxic water, and some guy comes into your swamp and he came from a different biosphere, right? He came from a clean, pristine environment with crystal clear waters and ice-top mountains and nice, beautiful beaches. And he came to your swamp and said, hey, by the way, you're living in a swamp. And you said, I'm not living in a swamp. And I'm like, by the way, the water that you're drinking is dirty. The water that I'm drinking is perfectly clean. And then you say, you are siding with the giant corporations that say that we need to get water filtration in here. You're trying to appease them. And I'm like, I'm not trying to appease them. I'm just telling you the objective truth. The objective truth is that your behavior is holding you back. That's the objective truth. And I know you don't want to hear it. You know, I know that as a black person in America, a lot of bad things happen to your ancestors. You've probably experienced a lot of prejudice and bad things in your life. I get it. I understand. So you don't want to hear somebody tell you, oh, you gotta just brush that off and continue, brother. Don't focus on the negative. Just lock in on the positive. I understand that people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. I assure you that if you ignore the negative and you lock in on the positive and you focus on the good aspects of your life and on the opportunities that you have living in America, I assure you that you're going to be a happier person. It's just the truth. You're going to have more fun. You're going to be yourself. You're going to enjoy life more. He continues. He goes on to talk about the girl who made a comic book with an all-black cast. And he asks, why does it have to be all black? He doesn't ask about specific gifts that the characters have, the storyline. This black guy totally can't get past the fact that the entire comic book, which happens to be fictional, by the way, is black. Last time I checked, my son and I enjoyed watching our predominantly Japanese anime cartoon, with the exception of a couple of mutants. Geez, not far after that, he goes full off the deep dive with the rhetoric and says that this is bad because this opens the door for other things such as if black people get into a position of power, then they will begin to enslave white people. Okay, this guy is a fucking idiot. What I was trying to say with the black comic book thing was that it's not a problem that the characters in the comic book are black. The problem that I had with the comic book was that the person was focusing on their blackness. They were making the entire comic book about them being black, and that the enemy in the comic book was the KKK. Why would you do that? Kanai says, my only thing is how you group everybody. I agree with what you say at times. On the Rise says, I get your side too. I'm just giving an intellectual opinion from my side. The reason I group everything in one group on the Rise and Kanai is because there's no point in pointing out the good stuff. We're not trying to solve the good stuff. The good stuff is fine. Leave all the good stuff as is. I focus on the bad stuff because I'm trying to give constructive criticism on the things that need to be improved. And in my opinion, that comic book was toxic. Am I bad for saying that? Am I in the wrong? He says, Scott, you fail to realize these writers and directors are white. You don't get on them for making money off of it. Kanai, but I'm saying the exact opposite, bro. We need more black directors and producers. But the black directors and producers shouldn't focus on their blackness. They should just make good content. Are you not tired? Are you not tired of seeing a movie or TV show where there's a black protagonist and you say, let me watch this show, and the show is bad, but just because the protagonist is black and all the characters are black, you're supposed to support it? I am not going to sit here and watch a show that sucks. You know, a show that sucks ass. I'm not going to sit here and watch a show that sucks ass, and just because the characters are black, support them. I'm not. Make good fucking content. Make good fucking content. Forget about the stupid race aspects of it. Make good fucking content. Look, Perfect example. The movie Get Out was great. I have no criticism. The movie, there was like 2 or 3 other movies that the guy from Key and Peele made, and they were great. They were amazing movies. HBO's The Watchmen, awesome movie. Awesome fucking movie. Awesome fucking TV show. The main character, they literally replaced Dr. Manhattan with a black person, and the black person was playing Dr. Manhattan, and I had no problem with it. It was great. It was fine. Make good content. HP Lovecraft Town. Is it Lovecraft Town? Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country on HBO. The main characters are all black. I loved it. It was great. I have no problem with the characters being black. I don't even have a problem if you want to make an all black cast. Just don't make the show about blackness. Make it about normal people. They just happen to be black. And make it good. I don't want to sit down and have to watch a pity party. Every single episode is about racism. Every single episode is about ostracization. Every single episode is about like, no, come on, dude. Come on, bro. That shit is not entertaining or funny or interesting. Anyways, I continue. I can't make this stuff up. And unfortunately, I ended up watching the entire video. I guess I'm reasonable. I'm a reasonable guy. And sometimes you just want to give people the benefit of the doubt or try to understand the logic behind the ignorance. And of course, that never came to fruition. And because there is scientific backing that proves that no one is born a racist or a liar, and that goes for the same thing for a grifter, these things are always learned. But in Mr. Leonard's case, I doubt if this was taught. I believe that some people are plain old opportunists with the moral flexibility of a rubber band. This guy has to be old. Who writes like this? I'll be truly glad when this entire grift takes its course and people like this get seen for who they are. But then again, I even believe the racists that listen to this type of trash get some form of enjoyment here. It comes from someone that looks like him, because if he says it, then it must be true. Regardless of how ridiculous it is, some people need to be able to have a scapegoat and someone to point the finger at. And that this is the reason the country is so in shambles, and the reason that this administration is in the position it currently is in. Because these people and those people, and the word accountability is just a word we use, not an action that we exercise. To all that are not completely lost and actually took the time to read this is so hard to read. To all that are not completely lost and actually took the time to read this to the end, I'd like to leave you this to all that still believe in accountability, humanity, and self-respect. Okay, there's still a little bit left. Non-zero sum game. Non-zero sum game. Advocates argue that censoring blackness creates a society where everyone can thrive. Historically, when black communities gain access to power and representation, society as a whole often benefits. The civil rights movement, expanding rights for women and other marginalized groups. Just as the civil rights and many other sacrifices made by black Americans opened the door for other marginalized groups to form other nations to now have full access of opportunity within the confines of this country. People that come from other marginalized groups, children of immigrants, women, poor working and middle class of every ethnicity, all Americans, because blacks are usually the first line of defense. Systematically, when blacks are going through trial setbacks with policy changes and programs being underfunded, all the working class Americans will suffer. But on the other hand, when black Americans, will suffer. But on the other hand, when black Americans, all the other marginalized groups will also thrive. What the fuck is he saying here? Am I reading this wrong? Programs, but underfunded, all of the working class Americans will suffer. But on the other hand, when black America, all the other marginalized groups will also thrive. This guy, like, he's missing words. I don't know what he's on. Facts. There is absolutely nothing divisive about pro-blackness. Okay, this guy's a fucking literal artard. I cannot believe I read this whole thing. I cannot believe I read this whole thing. Oh, you guys were looking at me while I was reading it. By the way, guys, this is what it was. I don't know how when I switched back to myself, but this is what I just read. I just read all this bullshit. This is a bunch of bullshit. This is a bunch of bullshit. Literally not proven. Literally just his emotions, his opinions. No facts. You can't be pro any race, dude. You cannot be pro any race. I'm sorry. Being pro-black, being pro-white, being pro whatever you want, you can't. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's divisive. It splits the community. It ruins society. It destroys moral comprehension, cohesion. It's not healthy for everyone. He says, Scott, black people had Black Wall Street, but was burnt down. And from that point on, weren't allowed to rebuild to that level again. That plays a part. It wasn't just because all black people got lazy, but on the rise. Why do you guys I don't understand why you guys keep bringing up all the stuff that happened to black people. I know all this, but that doesn't give you the right to say, okay, so we had a lot of persecution. We had a lot of segregation. So we're going to take it upon ourselves now to segregate. It doesn't work that way, man. I don't believe it works that way. I really don't. I think that people are selling themselves short. I think people are selling themselves short. And I don't know how many times I need to repeat myself, because I feel like this is the same argument I had with Content's Universe. It's the same argument I had with Theros TV. It's the same argument I've had with almost all of these guys. And it's like, they don't understand. I'm not saying that bad stuff didn't happen. I'm not saying that black people weren't treated inappropriately. I'm not saying any of that stuff. All I'm saying is that if you focus on those things and you try to segregate yourself, then you're going to fuck yourself over. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I guess people don't want to hear it. I guess people don't want to hear it. You know, people want to indulge in this victim mindset. They want to indulge in this I feel bad for myself mentality. And I was ostracized and my family was persecuted in the past. And where's my handout? Where's my handout? That's what people want. That's what people want to believe, bro.